Hey everybody, this is the Jewish Giraffe here with my Week 1 team builder for Red Battle League Season 4. I'm not going to go into what the Red Battle League is because that seems pretty insignificant at this point, but I'm going to, in this video, talk about the team I built for my Week 1 opponent, the Houston Tynamo, Brady, and I will then show you the video. This is going to be a post-battle recap, so let me just get into it. First off, here is the team that Brady drafted. It is Mega Gardevoir, Hydreigon, Magnezone, Donphan, Hawlucha, Greninja, Weezing, well, you can see the rest, whatever. Go-Go, which I haven't had fun season past. So when I was looking at Brady's team, I was pretty confident in 5 of the members he was going to be bringing. I could really expect Mega Gardevoir, Hydreigon, Magnezone, Donphan, and Hawlucha. Those I knew for a fact, because one, Hawlucha is the biggest threat to my team, which is worn down by Stealth Rocks, hence Donphan coming as that is his only spinner. Klefki is a big part of my team, so I knew that Magnezone was coming. Mega Gardevoir, it's week 1. Most people bring their Megas on the first week, so that was obviously going to come. And then Hydreigon I felt was going to be Scarfed, because that could deal with my Gallade if it was up to +2, and outsped everything on my team aside from, I think, Scarf, Tornadus. Yeah, that's the only thing that would have outsped it, but I did not want to bring Scarf Tornadus, as you will see. Last Mon, I was thinking either Vaporeon or Greninja. Those are his only 2 water types, and I felt like a water type was coming, so I could deal with the Seismitoad. I thought Vaporeon was probably going to come because it was more passive, but if Greninja came, I was expecting some sort of Stealth Rock, or Spikes, Toxic Spike, Suicide Lead sort of thing. Although he could have as easily brought Hydro Pump, Life Orb, Dark Pulse, U-turn sort of thing, and that would have been terrifying because my team has almost no way to deal with that. So thinking about those were going to be his 5 mons that he was going to bring, I concocted this team of Porygon Z, Seismitoad, Klefki, Nidoqueen, Gallade, and Gourgeist Super. Now, first off, I knew speed was going to be a huge factor, and Porygon Z just dents almost everything on his team with the right move pool. So a Scarf Porygon Z was going to be perfect for it because it was going to outspeed everything aside from Greninja, Scarf Hydreigon, and Scarfed Hawlucha, even after the Unburden. Although Hawlucha after the Unburden boost was going to outspeed everything on my team. But we'll get into that once the video actually comes on a little bit later. So Porygon Z, I decided to run Hidden Power Ground for Magnezone. I thought he would probably bring Specs Magnezone to better deal with the Klefki, and I know that from this spread, HP Ground would have easily killed. Tri-Attack even was going to do about a quarter because Magnezone doesn't have great Spadef. Then Thunderbolt was there for the Vaporeon and the Greninja, and as well as the Hawlucha, but Ice Beam was there for the Hawlucha as well as non-Scarf Hydreigon, the Donphan, a couple other things. Then we have Seismitoad. Now, this originally wasn't Scald on there. No, it's just pretty standard Spadef, Toxic Stall, Earth Power Scald. It was actually Stealth Rocks because I had accidentally put Stealth Rocks on Nidoqueen and Seismitoad, and I only realized about a minute before the battle that that was that way, and I wanted Nidoqueen to be my Stealth Rocker, so I put Scald on Seismitoad, and this does end up mattering, as you will see in a little bit as the video shows. This was mainly there to just be bulky and check things like Mega Gardevoir. This was not a 2-hit KO if he wasn't like modest and got a crit or something, or didn't go for like Psychic, got a Spadef drop and then Hyper Voice me. He wasn't going to 2-hit KO because Seismitoad is just ridiculously bulky. Toxic Stall was pretty much there if I could get the Vaporeon on a switch or the Donphan on a switch. I thought he would bring Donphan with like Seed Bomb to better handle this. So I was thinking about running Pasho, but I thought Leftovers would probably be better for the continual health regain between Protect and Toxic. Now, looking at his team, Spikes would have been helpful, but I felt Dual Screen's Klefki would have been better, especially with the Shed Shell, so I could get out from the Magnezone. Although Light Screen up with this spread was not going to be able to 2-hit KO me with Thunderbolt. And I wasn't expecting him to bring Hidden Power Fire, seeing as how I don't have anything 4 times weak to it. I figured Hidden Power Grass was probably going to come for the Seismitoad, which I could scout with the Protect. Thunder Wave was there because there are 3 things on this team I really needed to paralyze, being Hawlucha, Mega Gardevoir, and the Greninja. But I there's no way I wasn't going to bring T-Wave on Klefki. That is so crucial. Reflect and Light Screen are both there to make hits easier to take, especially if Hawlucha gets up to +2 behind a sub with that burn boost. There's no way, like most things I'm on team, are going to take an acrobatics or high jump kick. So Reflect is really there to mitigate that. And the Dazzling Gleam was there to just hit everything neutrally except for the Magnezone and the Wheezing, but I didn't think the Wheezing was coming. And just without any special attack investment, this is doing over half to normal Hawlucha. Before I get into the Nidoqueen, which is the more complicated set, I'm going to go over the more basic ones. I brought SD, Mega Gallade with Drain Punch, Psycho Cut, and Poison Jab. These three combined hit everything on his team. Poison Jab is pretty much only there for the Gardevoir though, as I have no other way to really hit it. I could have run Shadow Sneak, and then if I had been adamant, +2 Shadow Sneak would have been a guaranteed Oko after Stealth Rocks, or depending on what his spread was, if he didn't run any defense, it would be an Oko just without Stealth Rocks. In retrospect, this may not have been the best set because I have other better ways to deal with Gardevoir, but I felt like this was a good option. And then his only way to get rid of hazards was with Donphan, so I brought my Spin Blocker in Gourgeist. Just a simple max HP, max attack spread because I want to get off those fast Shadow Snakes, I want to get off the powerful Seed Bombs, and this is taking any hit from Donphan. Knockoff was doing nothing. Now, I bet you're wondering why the Custap Berry is there. This was originally Colbur Berry, and I was planning on bringing that to the match, and I accidentally put Custap Berry because I was fiddling around with Custap Explosion, but then I changed it so maybe I could do a Custap Destiny Bond, but then that didn't work out, so I was thinking, oh, Custap Berry Will-O-Wisp, that could be cool on, like, Hawlucha or something, I don't know. It was not a good plan, and Colbur probably would have been better, as Custap Berry doesn't really do anything in the matches, you'll see, but I gotta stop putting in spoilers. What is wrong with me? That 12 Spidef actually does matter, because if he does run Hidden Power Fire Magnezone, I can take 2 this way. Lastly, we have Nidoqueen with the strange looking spread there. So first off, it's Poison Jab, Earth Power, Stealth Rock, Ice Beam. This can hit everything on his team, at least neutrally. Okay, Poison Jab is there with the 44 attack EVs because that's a guaranteed Oko on offensive Mega Gardevoir, because I knew he wouldn't bring the max HP, max defense, or whatever spread that's supposed to deal with Stall, because there's no way I'm going to bring Stall. My team can't handle it. This wasn't going to outspeed, obviously, and I wasn't going to put a lot of speed into it, so the Pyapa Berry is there to take any one psychic attack. A modest max special attack Psyshock from Mega Gardevoir to this with the Pyapa Berry is doing no more than 40% with this spread, because the 108 Bold Nature is more than enough to take it, plus the 68 Spidef if he ran Psychic. It was going to do about the same, probably I think 45 was the maximum. Earth Power was there because this is one of my main Magnezone checks, and 68 special attack was to be sure to do over 7, no, it was to Oko Hawlucha after Stealth Rocks, as well as doing as much as possible to the Magnezone if it was like Assault Vest or something crazy like that. Ice Beam was there to hit Hawlucha, of course, because I didn't want to run Thunderbolt in case he ran, well, in case I needed to hit Donphan for any reason, which I wouldn't stand with this on Donphan. This wasn't going to take an Earthquake. I think it takes 1, but not after Rocks, and 1 layer of Spikes, I think. I don't remember the exact calc. But I figured this was going to be a main component of my team because it can, in fact, switch into a Mega Gardevoir's Hyper Voice, take a Psyshock, and then take a Flash Cannon from a Specs Magnezone all together. So without any further ado, let's get into the battle. Okay, so right from the very start, Brady brought pretty much everything I was expecting. I kind of expected the Greninja over the Vaporeon, but he brought it. So looking at his team, I knew he was probably going to lead with either, well, I thought he was going to lead with one of the 3 bigger threats to my team, being Magnezone, Hydreigon, or Donphan. I knew he wouldn't lead Hawlucha because that's his win condition, and there's no way he would have led with that. So expecting one of those, I decided to lead with my Seismitoad, because then if it was Magnezone, I could hit with the Earth Power. If it was the Hydreigon, I knew I could take a U-turn or a Dark Pulse or anything, or I could Protect and Scout. I knew he wouldn't bring any sort of setup hydrating because that's not a thing. And then I thought it would be a good lead versus Donphan because unless he was running the Seed Bomb, I could hit it with the Scald, and I could either protect the Scout or switch right into my Gourgeist off the bat. So going into this, he does end up leading off with the Donphan, and I switch out immediately and go into Gourgeist, just not wanting to risk the Seed Bomb, and he goes right into Vaporeon. This right here leads me to believe that he has the Hidden Power Grasp, because there's no other way he should be switching in his Vaporeon into Seismitoad. So kind of expecting this, I believe I go into the... I go for a Will-O-Wisp right off the bat. As he goes into his Hydreigon, which gets burned, and this is really nice. I'm expecting the U-turn, but I can't stay in for that, so I go into my Klefki. He goes for the U-turn, and then here I was expecting him to go into Magnezone, but instead he goes into Donphan. I kind of expected him to go for Rocks because this is his only Rocker on the team, and I don't know, I think Rocks would have been a better play right here, but he goes right for the Earthquake. I set up the Reflect though, just to scout for it, because I didn't want to go for a Light Screen or go for Thunder Wave expecting him to switch or anything. He had a better play right here. So the Earthquake does about half. It does 44%. So I know I could take another one, but I'm not staying in, because Gourgeist is my dedicated switch in. I see the Rocky Helmet, but I don't register this, and I really should have, because this would have been very important in the future. Okay, so knowing this was my dedicated switch in, I felt like I could go for another Will-O-Wisp here, trying to hit the Donphan in case he tried to overpredict and go for any sort of, or if he tried to go for a knockoff or something, but in the back of my mind, I kind of thought he was going into Hydreigon, which he does end up doing to catch that burn, which isn't that big of a deal because I know can handle this. Now, expecting him to know, I would expect another U-turn. I switch out here, and he goes for the Dark Pulse, which doesn't do much to my Seismitoad. It does about 30%, 30% exactly, so expecting him to be Scarfed, I decided to throw off a Scald, which hits the Vaporeon, so obviously not going to affect it. And here, I'm expecting him to go for the Hidden Power Grasp because, like I said before, there was no other way he should have switched it in, so I can go for the Protect here fairly safely in Scout. And I go for the Protect, and that is what he has. So I know I can't stay in here because he's probably EV'd it, so I can't take it, but I am specially defensive, so I know I could have taken one. It just wasn't worth getting off the Toxic onto it. So I go into my Gourgeist, which I know can easily take this, plus I could take a Scald or anything like that, and I go for the Seed Bomb, just wanting to make a safe play, hit anything in case he wanted to go to this or go into his Donphan for whatever reason, or if he even wanted to stay and then hit me with like a Toxic or something. I would do a lot of damage to the Vaporeon. I think it would do over half, and looking at the calculator, this is a specially defensive Vaporeon, so it would have done way over half because this is a max attack Seed Bomb. He goes in there. I'm expecting him to probably Dark Pulse again, but he could U-turn. He goes for the U-turn right off the bat, and this time he goes into Hawlucha. This is where Scald comes into play, because if I was running Stealth Rocks over Scald, there was no way I could have touched this and I would have been forced to switch. So he just goes for a sub right off the bat. I thought this was a little early, but I'm not going to judge Brady's plays. Scald is able to break the sub, and he goes for a Swords Dance. Now, if I had gotten the burn right here, that would have been major, but it's better that I didn't, because he burns his Citrus, he gets his Unburden boost, and Seismitoad goes down. I'm free to go into Klefki here. Now, I have two options. I can go for a Reflect here if I'm expecting to switch, or I can go for the Thunder Wave and just neutralize this threat overall. I know it's the scummier play, but all I cared about was that speed, because Klefki could go down right here. My whole thing was just that it needs to paralyze Hawlucha, and then I could go into Porygon and start firing off some Tri-Attacks, some Ice Beams, some Thunderbolts, whatever I thought was probably the best play. I didn't try to get Haxie, but that is going to be what happens. I was also in the back of my mind expecting him to know that he'd get paralyzed and run like Rest Talk Hawlucha or something crazy like that, or maybe just sub SD Rest Acrobatics, something crazy like that. But at the same time, I know Brady likes to build his teams like 2 minutes before the game, so there's no way he would have come up with something that crazy. So I fire off the Thunder Wave, and unfortunately I get the full pair. I didn't want this because I know I could have taken a high jump kick. Actually, what am I talking about? I definitely would have died to a high jump kick. With the Reflect Up, I could have taken the high jump kick, is what I meant to say. So that second full pair is especially sucky, and I apologize to Brady for that. I didn't want these to happen. Of course, I accept them when they happen to me, but this is not what I'm aiming for. My whole thing was that he just gets slower. So Brady switches the Hawlucha here, which I don't exactly agree with, because he loses the Unburden boost, and I'm not sure at this point if Vaporeon has Heal Bell. It does end up having Heal Bell, so he can unparalyze it. But if he didn't have that Heal Bell, the thing was just gone, and his best play would have just been to keep firing off acrobatics or high jump kicks or whatever he's running. So Donphan comes in here. I just went for the Dazzling Gleam because I know it would have killed the Hawlucha, and it does half to this Donphan. So I know that thing does not have any specially defensive investment, whatever. That is just max HP, probably a max attack Donphan. Maybe even not max HP. Maybe it's got some defense on there or something. But I don't think he has speed. So I go into my Gourgeist here to just take whatever Earthquake thing he's doing. But he goes for the Ice Shard. And with the Reflect Up, that's doing nothing. So here I'm free to fire off another Seed Bomb because I was expecting him to go into Hydreigon. Oh wait, no, I go for the Synthesis here. So Shadow Sneak is going to do 64% to the Gardevoir. That is so much damage. This is what I was originally max HP, max Spadef on Gourgeist, but max HP, max attack, that is more than enough to 2-hit KO. And I know I can take at least one Hyper Voice. So he goes for the Hyper Voice, and the Reflect wears off, and the Custat Berry activates, which isn't going to do anything because I can get a Shadow Sneak off, and one of the biggest threats to Gourgeist is this Hydreigon. And Gourgeist is able to kill the Hydreigon. People were shitting on the Gourgeist pick, but it's able to do a lot. So he goes into the Magnezone here, and I see he's got a Balloon. This I was not expecting at all. So my number one priority is, oh, I need to break this Balloon and then switch into Nidoqueen. But Brady makes a very, very amazing play, expecting the Shadow Sneak, and doubles into Donphan, so I take that Rocky Helmet damage, which I had forgotten about earlier, which is a very big problem to me. And if I was running Leftovers here, instead of the Custat Berry, I'd be at a better amount of HP, so I could hit him with, or I could take a Shadow Sneak, or a Ice Shard probably, because it'd be doing only about 20%, and with my HP from Leftovers, I'd be over 20%, and I'd be able to hit him with a Seed Bomb or a Will-O-Wisp or anything like that. But knowing that he's going to outspeed my Seed Bomb with the Ice Shard, I go for another Shadow Sneak here just to get enough damage off. I get a crit. I don't think that matters at all because it did another 6% to the Donphan. And here I can switch into Porygon. Porygon gets a basically free Tri-Attack onto anything. I was expecting kind of him to go into Magnezone, but then if he stayed in, he'd get a free switch into Hawlucha, and that'd be terrible. And I'd rather Magnezone come in than Hawlucha. Also, he has the Air Balloon, so I wouldn't have actually hit it. So I go for the Tri-Attack here, which kills the Donphan. No surprise there. I think he went for an Earthquake, maybe expecting me to be some sort of setup. Then he switches into Vaporeon, and I want to scout if this is defensive or specially defensive. And judging by that damage, he's very specially defensive. That is like Calm, Max HP, Max Spadef, and he goes for the Heal Bell. And when I see this, I just go, oh no, because now Hawlucha is going to get another shot at sweeping me. Even if it doesn't have the Unburden boost, it's going to outspeed my Mega Gallade because I don't have any priority on it. It's not going to outspeed my Porygon, but he can, well, I'd have to switch it in. I couldn't even switch it in. I just need a free switch into it. And if he was up behind a sub, that was pretty much game. So I know I need to keep Klefki alive, and I know I need to keep this alive. But being stupid, I decided to go for another Tri-Attack just to see how much damage it'll do and see if he decides to go for a Wish or a Scald here. He goes for the Wish, and I kind of expected him to pass this into his Hawlucha because I felt like that would be the better play. But instead he passes this into his Gardevoir. So Gardevoir gets back up to full, and I decided to go for a Light Screen just to be able to take a Hyper Voice, a Hidden Power Fire, anything like that. But instead, Brady decides to go for the Taunt, which is a good play. So in case I was trying to get some late game spikes, which actually would not have been a good play, seeing as how half his team is unaffected by it. Or if I tried to go for something, I couldn't go for multiple of them. I guess he kind of forgot I was Prankster. I think that's probably his reasoning behind this too, because a Hidden Power Fire or anything, maybe even a Focus Blast probably would have been better. But he goes for the Taunt, so I'm pretty much forced to switch because I know Dazzling Gleam isn't going to do anything. And this is the moment where Nidoqueen comes in. I'm expecting either a Hidden Power of Fire or a Focus Blast right here. Either one of those, because there's no reason he should be going for a Psyshock here. So I get taunted. I switch into the Nidoqueen as he switches into the Magnezone. So this is big for me because he knows that he can't die to an Earth Power because of the Balloon, but I know I can break the Balloon and I can live any hit he's going for, especially since I've got that Light Scream out. And I'm kind of thinking he might just switch into Vaporeon, he might just switch into Gardevoir here, not wanting to get the balloon broken by whatever moves I'm carrying. So kind of expecting him to switch, I think Stealth Rocks were the best play because late game Hawlucha was going to be a menace. So I go for the Rocks as he doubles back into Gardevoir. Obviously not expecting my set because my set is insane, and here I know I can take anything he goes for, and with the Light Screen I can take even a crit Psychic. And Poison Jab's gonna kill. That's the whole thing. That does 22% with the Light Screen up, and Poison Jab just drops that Gardevoir. That does so much damage. Now he goes into the Magnezone. I guess he was just trying to see what my other move was, and I go for the Ice Beam. Here, I think he goes for the Hidden Power Grass, which only does 15% because of the Light Screen being up. That is great for me because seeing that, I know I outspeed, which is huge. So I get a free Earth Power off here, but he knows this, and I know Brady knows this. So I'm expecting the Hawlucha here, and he actually switches into Vaporeon over the Hawlucha as I go for another Ice Beam, which does nothing. And I did the calcs, I know he's fully specially defensive. Because of the 44 attack EVs I put into that Poison Jab, it'll do at least 32% to a max HP, max special defense Vaporeon. So I go for the Poison Jab, and I don't get the low roll, and I kill. That is huge, because he would have been able to get up a Wish or a Scald and just ruin my Nidoqueen. So I'm at a good amount of HP. I have the moves to take on everything. Hawlucha can come in here, but unless it gets a crit, it can't kill me with an Acrobatics. And he can't go for Swords Dance because of the Ice Beam. So he switches in Hawlucha, and he has to go for the crit, which he does not get, and Nidoqueen lives, being able to take out the Hawlucha with an Ice Beam and then take out the Magnezone with an Earth Power because I outsped earlier. So we win this game with a 4-0. It felt amazing to win this game because this is 4 seasons in a row now where I have won my week 1 game, and I planned to keep that tradition, so I prepared a lot for this match. I was very happy with the results. I congratulate Brady for bringing a really good team, a really predictable team, but a really good team nonetheless. Nidoqueen, MVP of the game. I spent so much time working on this set, and it was exactly what I needed it to be. It did everything I needed it to do. It tanked every hit. Also thanks to Klefki for being scummy and for getting up those screens, which mattered a lot, far more than the spikes would have, although forcing Donphan to spin could have been cool. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. My week 2 battle will be out eventually. I don't know, once I get that in. I don't even know who I'm against, so that battle will come up eventually. Probably expect another Blondito live before that, though. Thanks for watching, and shouts out to Nidoqueen.